Okay. Hi, and welcome to Four Corners Level 4. I will be your teacher, and my name is Aaron Hernandez Galindo. Okay, my email address is aaron.hernandez@utl.edu.mx. My phone number is 821-145-6792. Okay, if you have any questions, any doubts, please feel free to contact me. Okay, this letter is going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to cover the whole unit, only specific points. In this case, it's going to be vocabulary and grammar. Okay, Unit 1 is titled The News. It's going to be divided in 4 different parts. I'm going to go from vocabulary to vocabulary and grammar again. The first vocabulary is going to be about news sections. Then we go to grammar, where I'm going to cover verb tenses, statements. And then back to vocabulary of actions in the news. And finish off with grammar, verb tenses, questions. Okay, this part is titled vocabulary news sections. Okay, so we're going to listen to the names of the news sections. And we're going to see in which news sections you can find the picture. Try to have a little dynamic feeling to this, or I'm going to say each word and you're going to repeat after me. I'm going to give you about 2 seconds in between each word so you can try to say it. Okay? So listen closely and repeat. I'm going to go in alphabetical order with the vocabulary words. Okay? Listen and repeat. Business, entertainment, health, lifestyle, local, sports, technology, science, travel, weather, world. Okay. Now, if you can see the pictures, there's 6 different pictures here, right? The first picture is a picture of a plate and food. Remember, we're talking about news. So in which news section would you find a plate and food? Okay, the answer is already there. This is the first example. It's letter D, lifestyle. In this section, in the news sections for lifestyles, we might find different ways of eating, which causes a different diets and a different lifestyle. Okay, so number 2, we see 2 musicians with instruments. Now, which news sections can you find musicians and instruments? It's B, entertainment. Okay, number 3, we got a businessman with a tie, a phone, and maybe it could be computers looking at information. So what news section do you think this picture belongs to? This is A, business. Okay, now we're going to go to number 4. Which news section do you think you're going to see this peculiar building? It's going to be H, in travel. To see this building, you most likely probably have to travel, right? Okay. Now, number 5. We see a little girl. She's in her mom's arms. And we see another hand. The hand seems to be holding a needle. Right? She looks like she's about to get a shot, a vaccine shot, maybe. So where do you think we can find this image in? Which news section? It's C, health. Okay. Number 6, we have a picture of the planet Earth. It looks to be the state of Florida, and we got a wind, strong winds, like it looks like a tornado or a twister right here. So what news sections do you think you're going to find the planet in strong winds? It's going to be weather. So these are all the pictures we have as examples, but we have more than 6 words. So we're going to try to use each news section. Now we have a box down here. It says, in this activity, in which news sections can you find these news stories? Okay, so we're going to discuss that a little bit. It says, the best new applications for phones, last night's soccer scores, a meeting among world leaders, a new coffee house in your town. Okay, so in which news sections do you think the best new applications for phones would be in? It would be in technology and science. Okay. Now, last night's soccer scores. Where do you think you would find last night's soccer scores? It would be sports. Okay. In which news sections do you think you would find a meeting among world leaders? It would be in world, for world news. Okay. Now, a new coffee house in your town would be more in a local news section. Okay, now moving on to grammar. It says verb tenses statements. We have 6 different types of verb tenses statements. We have the simple present, present continuous, simple past, past continuous, present perfect, and future with will. Okay? Now let's take a look a little bit at the structure. First thing it says, Hawaii hopes to attract more business travelers. Now this is simple present. And we're talking about the word in the bold letters, which is a verb. Verb tenses statements. Okay? You can hope, hopes, hoping, but since it's simple present, it's hopes. Hawaii hopes to attract more business travelers. Okay, now present continuous. Jasper is recovering from last week's storm. Okay, you can see we have 2 words in bold letters. This auxiliary word, or auxiliary, and it's a be verb with the word recover in its present continuous form, which is recovering. So it's something they're doing, right? So as Jasper is recovering from last week's storm. So it's not something they're going to do, it's something they're doing. Hence the ing at the end of the verb. Now, simple past. Mars had a large lake billions of years ago. Okay? So the word had is simple and in the past form. Okay? In the present, it would be have. But since it's in the past, it's had. Mars had a large lake billions of years ago. Since it's in the past, it no longer has it. Now, past continuous. It says Jason was playing songs all night. Now it has an auxiliary word, which is was, and the verb is play in its continuous form. With the ing at the end, playing. Jason was playing songs all night. So was, in the case that it was in the past, continuous, playing. Past continuous, was playing. Now, present perfect. Cafe Bella has opened in Pelham. Right? So it's present, it's a perfect form. Okay? The auxiliary is has. Opened. Okay, the verb is open, but it has an ed at the end. So it has opened right now. Right? Cafe Bella has opened in Pelham. Now, future with will. It says the Winter Olympics will begin next Monday. Auxiliary word is will, indicating that it's in the future. It will do it. Will do what? The verb is begin. It will begin. So the Winter Olympics will begin next Monday. When will it begin? Next Monday, in the future. Okay, so here we're going to do a little activity together. It says complete the news stories with the correct forms of the verbs. Okay, it says the Austin Sun-Times has closed its doors for now. Okay, so as auxiliary word is has, and the verb is closed, but since in the past is has closed. It already did it. It already closed its doors. Okay, the next sentence says the newspaper printed its last newspaper last Sunday, but it will open again next month as an internet-only paper. Okay, the verbs is print and open, but it's in the past, so we add ed to the end. Printed. Okay, something it did in the past, but it will open again next month. Will, so it's future with will, and the verb stays the same. Will open. It will do it in the future. Okay, now next sentence says staff members are learning about digital publishing now, so they will be ready next month. Okay, the verb is learn. We just add an ing because it's something they're doing in the present continuous, and we use are as the auxiliary word. So are learning about digital publishing now, so they will be ready next month. Future with will. So what are they doing now? Learning about digital publishing. What will they do in the future? They will be ready next month. Next sentence says, sadly, the Austin Gazette is now the city's only newspaper. Okay, we got the word V, and since it's singular, we're going to use is. If it was plural, we would use are, but it's singular. But the Austin Gazette is one. Subject, so it's the be would be is. Number 2, pink is a playful color, and it makes people smile. Okay, the verb be, pink, singular, so we use is. Pink is a playful color, and it makes. Okay, the verb is make, but we're going to add an s to it to make it simple present. You can see up here, simple present, we got the verb, we just add the s at the end to make it simple present. So it's makes. Okay, next sentence says, but last night William Maddox wasn't smiling when he stopped a fight in his store. So the verb is smile. We got the word not right here, which indicates it's going to be negative, and it's in the past. So this is going to be past continuous. Was, it's auxiliary word, plus not, plus smile, in its continuous form, adding the ing at the end. So was not smiling, or wasn't smiling when he stopped a fight in the store. We got the verb stop, but we convert it into its past form, adding the P-E-D at the end. Stopped. Okay? It says, two people were arguing for about 5 minutes over the last pink t-shirt in my store. Okay, so the verb is argued, but we're going to change it into its past continuous form. So we add the auxiliary word were, arguing. We add the ing at the end to convert it into past continuous. Next sentence says, I asked them to leave and close the store for the day, said Maddox. Okay, so it's in the past. So we will grab the verb ask and convert it into past form, adding the ed at the end. We do the same to the verb close. We add ed, but since it already has an e at the end, we only add the d. Closed. Okay. Number 3. 15-year-old Kate Moore is the country's newest texting champion. Right? Katie Moore is one person. Therefore, it's singular, and we use the singular form of be, which is. Okay? Next sentence says, last Tuesday, she competed against 20 other contestants and won $50,000 for her fast and accurate texting. Okay? Since it says last Tuesday, we know that it's in the past. So we take the word verb, so we take the verb compete and convert it into past form, adding the ed at the end, or in this case, just the d, competed. Now, with the word win, we change the I to an O because it's an irregular verb. When it's an irregular verb, the whole word changes. If it's a regular verb, you just add the ed at the end. But here we're going to change it. So we're going to change the win to won. And this is past form. Okay. Next sentence says, but even Kate got one question wrong. Okay, so we convert the word gets into its past form. It's also irregular, so we change the E into an O, got. Okay, so it can be in the past. It got one question wrong. Okay, next sentence says, no one knew the meaning of the abbreviation Paul. Again, it's in the past, and it's irregular, so we're going to change the O into an E, knew. And that's the past form of know. Next sentence says, it means I can't talk now. My parents are watching. Right? So mean is in the simple present. And what do we do to the simple present? We just add an S at the end. So we keep the word mean, add an S at the end, and it's simple present. We're here, we're going to put are watching. We use the verb watch, add an ing to it. The auxiliary word is are, because parents is plural. So it's are watching. But it's present continuous, because it's something they're doing. It's not something they're going to do, it's something they're doing. So it's are watching, present continuous. Okay, so we got more vocabulary words. Actions in the news. We're going to match the news headlines and the pictures. Now I'm going to read the sentences, or I'm going to read the headlines in alphabetical order, and then I'm going to read the words individually, also in alphabetical order. Try to repeat after me and practice your pronunciation. Again, I'll give you about 2 to 3 seconds between each headline so you can repeat it and practice. Okay, A. Shark attacks local surfer. B. Bear chases hiker up tree. C. Pilot crashes plane. No one hurt. D. Lightning misses gopher by 1 foot. E. Boat overturns, all swim to safety. F. Firefighter rescues family cat. G. Hiker survives week in the mountains. H. Fire threatens historic town. Okay, now I'm going to do just the words in bold letters. Repeat after me. Attacks, chases, crashes, misses, overturns, rescues, survives, threatens. Now, in case you don't know what these words mean, we have the pictures to help us understand what's going on. Now, I'm not going to go in order of the pictures. I'm going to go in the order of the headlines. Shark attacks local surfer. In which one of these pictures do we see a shark? Number 7. There's a shark right there in the water. You can see waves, which indicate the ocean, and a surfer. It's the person riding the waves. And if the headline says shark attacks local surfer, then the shark is attacking the surfer. Now B, bear chases hiker up tree. Which one of these pictures can we see a bear? That would be number 8. Number 8, we can see a bear standing up, looking at a person. That person would be the hiker, and he's on top of the tree. So number 8 is B. Bear chases hiker up tree. Now C. Pilot crashes plane. No one hurt. Now where can we see a plane? There's 2 pictures here with a plane in them, but one is in the air and the other one is on the floor. And it says the pilot crashes the plane. Therefore, it won't be in the air. And we can see a woman with a uniform, a pilot uniform. So she's the pilot that crashed the airplane. Number 6 is C. D. Lightning misses gopher by 1 foot. Now where can we see a gopher? Okay, golf is a sport. So a golfer would be a person who plays that sport. And it says lightning misses gopher. So we're going to see a lightning in the picture as well. We can see a lightning in number 3. And we can see a woman playing a sport. And that sport is golf. So number 3 is D. Now, E. Boat overturns, all swim to safety. Okay, so where can we see a boat and people swimming? That would be number 1. Overturns means that, well, it's not swimming in its correct way. It flipped over or it overturned. And we can see the people swimming to safety. So number 1 is E. Now F. Firefighter rescues family cat. So in which one of these pictures can we see a firefighter and a cat? That would be number 4. The firefighter, he has a cat in his arms and he probably rescued it from the burning house. We can tell that it's burning from the fire coming out the window. Okay. So number 4 is F. Now G. Hiker survives week in the mountains. Now, We already established the number 8 is a hiker with a bear. Where else can we see a hiker? That would be number 2. And if he has a little red flag, it's because he's trying to grab the airplane's attention, trying to get rescued. Okay, so number 2 is G. Hiker survives week in the mountains. Now, we got H. Fire threatens historic town. Which one's the only one left? Number 5. Okay, so we can see a town right here, and we can see a fire really close by. And since it's so close to this town, it causes a threat. You can see the smoke is already polluting the town's oxygen in the air that the people will breathe. So number 5 is H. Fire threatens historic town. I go back to grammar. Verb tenses, questions. Okay? Here we're going to see simple present, present continuous, simple past, past continuous, present perfect, and future with will. But in questions, and there's 2 types of questions. We got WH questions, which begin with a WH word. And the WH questions are, in the examples here, we can see when, how, what. Okay, we got yes-no questions. They're called yes-no questions because their answer is always a yes or a no. And to get a yes or no questions, we start the question with a do, are, did, were, have, or will. And we're going to see how we use them in the activities we're going to do, okay, as a group. Now there's 2 sections, both with 6 questions. I'm going to start off by reading the grammar box. Okay, so I'm going to start off by reading the grammar box. Okay, simple present example. When do you plan on surfing? Okay, since it's simple present, we keep the verb in its natural form. Present continuous. How are you feeling? Okay, the present continuous is going to have the verb with the ing at the end because it's something they're doing. Right? So it's how are you feeling? How are you feeling right now? Okay, simple past. What did you see? So we changed the word do into did so it can be in this past form. And we keep the verb in its regular form. We got past continuous. What were you doing? Since it's continuous, we got the ing at the end. And since it's past, we got the auxiliary word were. Okay, now we got present perfect. How long have you surfed? The verb is surf in its present perfect form, adding the ed at the end with the auxiliary word being have. Future with will. What will you do next? So the verb is do, but since it's in the future, all we do is add will as the auxiliary word. Okay. Now yes and no questions. Do you plan on surfing today? Right? It's simple present, so we keep the verb plan in its regular form. Present continuous would have an ing at the end. So it's are you feeling okay? Now it's talking directly to the person. If it was talking about another person or about a third person, it would be is he or is she feeling okay? But in this case, it's are you feeling okay? So we got simple past. Did you see the shark? Right? It's in the past, so it's not something you do, it's not something you're doing, it's something you did. Did you see the shark? The verb stays in its regular form. Past continuous. Were you surfing? Okay, since it's a past, we're going to use were. If it was talking about another person or a third person, it would be was he or was she swimming? Was he or was she surfing? But since it's talking directly to the person, it's were you. Now, present perfect. Present perfect. Have you served for a long time? Okay. Again, we have the word have. Now I got these notes right here stating how the structure of each sentence should be. Present past continuous, simple past, present perfect, and future with will. So present perfect is going to have the has or a have. It says, have you served for a long time? Future with will. Will you go back in the water soon? We're going to use will to indicate that it's in the future. The verb is go, and it stays in its regular form. Will you go back in the water soon? Okay, now we're going to start with the activities. Look at the yes/no questions the reporter asked Wade. Okay, so this is questions that a reporter asked Wade. Number 1, do you go surfing every day? We use the word go and we keep it in its regular form. And we add do to state that it's in simple present. It could be, did you go surfing every day if it was in the past. But since it's a simple present, we use do. Do you go surfing every day? Number 2, did anyone see the shark before it attacked you? Since it's in the past form, we use the word do in its past form. So it's did. Did anyone see the shark before it attacked you? We keep the verb in its regular form. Number 3, were other people surfing around you? So it's talking about people, and people is plural. If it was singular, we would use was, but since it's plural, we use were. And it's present continuous. So we take the verb and we add ing at the end. Were other people surfing around you? Number 4, will you buy a new surfboard soon? Right? So it's in the future. And if it's in future, we're going to add the word will. Will you buy? Because we keep the verb in its regular form. Will you buy a new surfboard soon? Number 5, have you spoken with your family yet? We use have because it's in the present perfect. Have you spoken? We changed the verb, but since it's an irregular verb, we don't add an ed to the end. We completely change the word. And in this case, it can be spoken. Have you spoken with your family yet? To make it in its past form. Number 6, do you have any advice for others? It's in the simple present. If it was in the past, we would use did. Did you have any advice for other surfers? But it's in the present, so we use do. Do you have any advice for other surfers? We keep the verb in its regular form. In the next activity, we're going to read the answers and try to find what the question was in order to get that answer. Example number 1, where did she crash the plane? She crashed the plane in a forest. Now, the underlined parts are the answers. And the part that isn't underlined is the information that we use in the questions to indicate what we're talking about. You see, this part right here, she crashed the plane, is also in the question. She crashed the plane. All we add is the WH question. Where? In a forest. Where did she crash the plane? She crashed the plane in the forest. Okay? So let's try to make that into a habit in which we include that information in both the question and the answer. The only thing we would change would be the WH question and the answer. Okay, so let's try it. It says, he's been in the desert for a week. Week is time-based, so we're going to use how. Okay, or how long? It says he's been in the desert. So the question is going to be, how long has he been in the desert? He's been in the desert for a week. Okay, number 3. It says the firefighter felt very proud. So what is he asking for? The feeling. What was his feeling? Very proud. So how did the firefighter feel? The firefighter felt very proud. Okay, number 4. The fire will threaten the town center tonight. Tonight indicates time. When? Tonight. And what's the information? The fire will threaten the town center. So the question is going to be, when will the fire threaten the town center? The fire will threaten the town center tonight. Number 5. They were fishing when the boat overturned. So what was the answer? We're fishing. To what question? What? What were they doing when the boat overturned? Now number 6 says he's thinking about writing a survival book. Now what is he thinking about? Writing. Writing what? A survival book. So it's what is he thinking about writing? He's thinking about writing a survival book. And that is all for this lesson. I hope you learned a lot. And if you have any questions or doubts, please feel free to contact me. Thank you for your attention, and we'll see each other in the next video.